Good morning, Helen here from Blended Therapy. Momentary panic there because the system that's been working perfectly well for the last week or so suddenly didn't work, so I'm on my phone again today. So hoping that whoever wants to has managed to join me. Hi Kathy. So I'm just collecting myself because I had to rush around and find my phone and plug it in and start a new way of setting up. So it's Monday morning for those who are watching live. It's a beautiful day in terms of the sun, but the temperature has plummeted over the last 24 hours and is going to get colder, and it's windy. And it feels appropriate that we've got this shift because here in the UK we're also apparently moving into a new stage in our lockdown. A stage where it seems we are being invited, hi Bradley, we are being invited to take responsibility ourselves in many ways for what steps we take, and that seems appropriate with what's been going through, hi Helen, what's been going through my mind over the last couple of days. And you may have seen my live yesterday, slightly longer live, when I was talking about my own experiences 8 years ago when I had a major health crisis. Morning Bob. And that, I'm not going to go into it again now, because if you want to, if you haven't already, you can watch that on my Blended Therapy feed. But the experience that I had of my own, of the rug being pulled out from under my own feet, my whole life, everything that I thought made up my life no longer being available to me, which is what we are all experiencing and have been experiencing over the last few weeks. For me, it was the catalyst to moving forward into a different life. And the point I was making in the video, which I am going to repeat, is that over and over again, people would talk about, as I started my recovery, people would talk about how lovely it was to see me getting back to my own old self, or that I would be back to how I used to be before I knew it. And I used to stop them and say, no, I'm not going back, I'm going forwards. I'm going forwards to a new me and a new life. In fact, I was probably a bit of a pain in the backside about it because I wouldn't let anyone say it, because it felt really important to me. And since then, in fact, this is occurring to me as I speak, since then I've learned so much more about manifesting and how what we think and our perceptions, our intentions, how they create our lives. And our reality. And I think that was a gut belief, a gut understanding, that the more I allowed anyone in my area around me to talk about going back, or rather that the importance of focusing on moving forward to a new life. And that's the position that we are all in at the moment. We have a choice. We have a choice on how and when we come out of this period of retreat, of lockdown, of whatever you want to call it. We have a choice of how we personally choose to move forward. Everyone has a choice. We have no control over what other people choose to do. We have no control over how other people think, how they choose to act, what they choose to manifest in their lives. We do have choice about what we choose to do. And so as we apparently start moving forward into a slightly different, or at least an ongoing process of moving towards a more open society again, with the knowledge that the way it was is not going to be the way it is for a very long time, I suspect. I think it's really important to hold on to that awareness that we have our own choice and we choose how we want to move forward. And it may seem that other people are not learning the lessons that we feel are so obvious. But that's not necessarily the case, and it's not something we have control over. So this morning and this week, I think I'm inviting you to sit with the idea of, what is it that you want? What do you want to take away from this period? Whether it goes on for weeks, months, who knows, ahead of us. What is it that you want to change in your life as a result of this? Maybe it's something tiny. Maybe it's something as small as just making time to meditate every day, even if life is back to normal. Maybe it's something huge. Maybe you want to change everything about your life. And maybe you don't know yet, but keep open, keep being here, being present, and see where it takes you. So with that in mind, or letting it go, whichever works for you, I invite you to connect to the ground. So whether you're sitting on the floor or on a chair, whether you're even standing as you watch this, allow your feet to really connect with the ground, whether it's the soles of your feet, the backs of your feet, the sides. Feel that connection of your feet resting down into the ground. And if you are sitting, let your sitting bones drop down too. Or if you're standing, keep your alignment so that your feet are underneath your hips, your knees are a little soft. And let your feet connect and ground into the earth, supporting your whole body, until maybe you start to feel a sense of your spine being really supported from underneath. And as that gravity takes you down into the ground with your lower body, maybe you start to feel a little sense of lift, of opening in your spine, a millimetre of extra space appearing between those vertebrae, particularly ones at the base of the spine. Let your shoulders relax. And let your breath move easily and gently through your body, simply turning your attention to watching it move. Noticing where you feel the breath most strongly. Noticing how, particularly as you start to settle, each breath may be a different length, duration, depth from the previous one. Allowing it to be. And then maybe, as you settle into this silence together, maybe noticing that your breath becomes a little deeper, a little longer. Maybe it starts to make its presence felt somewhere else in your body, or maybe not. And you may hear the sounds of Muppet, my dog, finding a more sunny spot to rest into. And if you do, just let those sounds take you deeper still, allowing her movements to rest you more deeply into the ground, freeing your spine a little more, releasing your shoulders and letting the breath simply come and go in its own easy, gentle rhythm. And all we're doing is giving ourselves some space. Giving our mind permission to rest, to be still. Letting the breath move through the body. Letting the body receive the breath and release the breath. safe in the knowledge that when it's ready, the next breath will find its way in. And whenever your mind goes off, distracted by a thought, a sound, a sensation in your body, just notice where it's gone and gently, kindly bring it back to your breath. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you for joining me. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you tomorrow.